Run with me a minute. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. When you're in totally ungodly state of mind, position, fear drives you into the arms of God. Do you see the very horror of your situation is a blessing? It makes you recoil into crying out to God for help. So fear becomes a blessing, which is why God allows it. But he allows it in love. Now, it is indeed the beginning of wisdom for, if you like, when you're far off, those that are far off. But it is not the mark of continuing presence of God. Be cautious of people who are using fear to steer you into acceptance of what they are saying. There's no need for God to use fear with you when your purpose and intent is on loving him, and when you are reaching out to his love for you. And fear is used at such a time, if you like, by the enemy. And I don't like thinking in these terms, but and so I should say it better. He does not use fear on you. And those that are waving some banner of fear for you to notice are not of him. At that time, fear is appropriate to those who are far off, but you are not far off. You trust in your heart that you're now a child of God, that he loves you. He doesn't need to use fear to suggest what you should do right. It comes to a point where the slightest hint at what is right coming from his lips is sufficient for you to long to do exactly that. Do you see fear is inappropriate with the children of God? And if someone's using fear on you to persuade you to go down a certain avenue of thought and understanding and acceptance of what is presented as their theology, their view of God, don't have any of it. I don't mean be hostile to them, of course. Well, you know that, don't you? But don't have any of that, can I say, indecent persuasion. It's not appropriate to the children of God. You can only appeal to me upon the basis and kindness and goodness of God and his protection to me in all things, because he's God, our Heavenly Father. And you cannot persuade us of anything any other way. And even then, of course, well, we're very much on our guard that what you're saying is of God. And that's reasonable, isn't it? So, avail yourself of this protection. Your protection is your confidence in God, not your fears. They're not your fears, sorry. Not fears. Not the fears that this person is presenting to you, running parallel with their case, their view. It doesn't mean that it's not right for them to have these fears. For if fear is strong enough, they will cry out to God to do something about the fear they're suffering from. It is, I think, occurs to me, probably important to realize that they are in fear and they're needing rescue from fear. And in some sense, the very fact that they're using fear indicates to you how much they're needing to know the love of God rather better. Don't want to mean that in an arrogant way, of course, but in a way that doesn't categorize them as the enemy, but on the contrary, someone that needs help and blessing. Oh, and I hope that's not too pious either. Well, it can't be too pious, can it? I mean, hang on. The words are right, aren't they? We want to bless people, and we want to be on our awareness. I was going to say on our guard, but I don't mean that. In this case, I mean we want to be sensitive, that's it, sensitive to the needs of those around us. And if they're trying to use fear to support their argument, it's because, well, honestly, they're not in it. I don't like the word praise, honestly. It's because, as I understand it, they are not experiencing the privilege of the relationship you understand that you have with our Heavenly Father, that we have with our Heavenly Father. On a slightly different note, but that it occurs to me here, I'm fluent in words, but I'm worried I'm too casual. And I suppose what I have gleaned from listening to some YouTube talk just now, the importance of what we say, it's what we're willing to own of what we think. Think of that for a moment. Sometimes a thought comes into our head and we think, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that. So you see, you don't put words to it. You sort of, you rub it out, don't you? You think, oh, what are you thinking things like that for, Marshall? I don't want to go down that road, Lord. Thank you for showing me that that's not the right thought. That's not in keeping with your loveliness and your goodness. Give me good thoughts, Father. Love you. And thank you for my mistake. Thank you for revealing it to me. Love you so much, Lord. Do you see, if we go as far as putting words to our wrong thoughts, well, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? And, well, I don't mean there isn't forgiveness. Of course there's forgiveness. Children of God only have to come to Jesus, and he washes our feet for us, doesn't he? He cleans the dust of the road off our feet. And we have no need to do anything more than that, for we are clean every whit when he does that. I hope I've said that in the right way, in a way that communicates to you. Bless you. Thank you, Heavenly Father.